Hi everybody, welcome back for another video. You just saw an example of an unarmed attacker, and I think this is a really important topic. What happens if you are out and about with your EDC and someone is attacking you and they're unarmed? In this case, the guy was going into a police station in Southern California, and the officer was confronted with a guy who's putting up the dukes and wanting to fight. So let's watch this video and then let's talk about it, because I think this is a really important topic. You can't necessarily draw your firearm and shoot someone just because they're showing their fist at you, but there are things that you need to do, and you need to have a less lethal option between you and using your fist, and I think these are very important concepts. So the fight is on. Here they go. The officer does not create space and he falls. That's the problem right off the bat. So anytime you get into this type of struggle, you've already lost, and the guy is ultimately going to get the weapon, and it just goes bad from there. And there he goes. So he has the firearm. Another officer is going to come out to help here, but it's just too little too late. So that was the first example, and you can see how that worked out. It was not a good scenario. The officer was unprepared. He did not have a taser, did not have pepper spray, did not have anything. He was relying only on his firearm, and when it became a wrestling match and he let the guy get too close, it ultimately ended up in the guy getting it, and that's a bad situation. And I can't imagine how that can happen inside a police station, but it happened quickly, and the second officer that came was a little bit too late, and it just wasn't something that was going to be a good move. You need to have something else on you at all times if you're carrying a lethal weapon, pepper spray, taser, something like that. Those are the two big ones because they are the most portable and the easiest to have on body. So how would you go about creating the distance that I'm talking about if you're carrying your firearm? And I've got it on my hip here, and you've got you need some other intermediate, and in my case it's usually pepper spray. So I've got the pepper spray in my pocket here. If someone gets this close to me, that's a problem. Of course, I have one hand I can push off, and that works really well if you don't have a firearm but you have a launcher, and the launcher is one of those that has a push to pull and with a trigger pull, and you can charge it. I think that works really well. But with my TCP, I need to create space. So if this was my TCP, I would need to do this, but I recommend doing this at all times for all situations. So you have your pepper spray in your pocket, and you have your hand in your pocket. If you see someone's coming, you can always have one hand to push off, but you need to be able to pull out that pepper spray, swipe the eyes with the pepper spray across the eyes, then push back. And while you push back, you're either drawing your firearm, or if it's a TCP, you're drawing your TCP or other FSC, and you're charging. And by using the pepper spray, you are creating that space. You are giving yourself a little bit of time to assess the situation, and you are also then having time to draw your weapon. And if it is a more powerful FSC TCP and it requires that extra second or two for the twist, you've now bought yourself that kind of time by using a pepper spray. So this was the first example. So I want to show you a second example where the officers were prepared and they had an intermediate, and the guy was, again, this is a guy, he wasn't putting up the dukes, but he was verbalizing, arrest me, I dare you. And then see how this one turned out, because this one turned out quite a bit differently.
Arrest! I dare you! Arrest! I'm right here! Hey!
Now you see that ended with the arrest, and that was used in a good manner. Here I see some indiscriminate spraying into a crowd, but again, this was a riot situation. There was a lot of other things being deployed here. There was OC in the air, but they were using this pepper spray on people who were crossing a line that they arbitrarily set.
Step back with her now.
So there you see it happened quite a bit differently, and that was used in a very different way. The officers were prepared for a more of a riot type situation, but it was still very effective at stopping him, and even on the crowds, I think sometimes they go a little overboard and they're using it on people that they should not. But it is effective, especially with those large canisters and a large spray at that police grade. Bottom line here is you have to always be thinking ahead before you leave the house, and in your training. You need to understand whether at what point are you willing or legally is it an option for you to brandish a weapon. If a person is threatening you verbally, it depends on what they're saying. It depends on the situation. Are there other people around who are witnesses to the situation? And are you legitimately in fear? You can't just do it and say, I'm going to address the situation later. You have to think these things through in advance. It's not something trivial. You will have to explain every second of the situation, and there will be other people around, maybe not, who can corroborate that you are acting in a defensive manner or not. The devil is in the details when it comes to these situations. The best situation is to avoid, de-escalate, get away, not have to reach for a weapon, whether it's a launcher or a firearm, because when you're carrying it, you are vulnerable, and if someone knows you have it, or if a person is threatening to attack you, obviously, if they get close enough, they may figure out that you have it, they may feel it on you, especially if they get you to the ground. It's a very delicate situation because you are vulnerable when you're carrying, no matter what you're carrying, even if it's a pepper spray. So you have to keep that distance, and you have to warn them verbally, step back. You have to do that and try to get yourself in a public place where other people are around who can either participate to help you or at least see what's going on, or there may be surveillance cameras around. We don't wear body cams, so the police do have the body cams to protect themselves and to protect others. We don't do that. Maybe we should. Maybe that's an option. But we don't have that kind of thing as who's got our back from a legal standpoint after a situation occurs. We can't go blindly through life hoping for the best, and then, if something bad happens, then we deal with it legally. It's best to avoid that from the very beginning, and have a plan. I'm going to draw my pepper spray first. I'm going to do it quickly when they're not aware. I'm going to spray them. I'm going to get out of there. These are the kind of things that you need to keep in mind. Relatively short video today. Everybody enjoy your summer. I'm outside today, but I'll be back with more videos, reality videos, and less lethal videos. So stay tuned. If you enjoy this type of content, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I've got a lot more to come. Everybody take care, and we'll see you in the next one.